Hello everyone, in this video we'll be discussing about chloroplast. It is an important organelle since we are discussing photosynthesis, and this whole process of photosynthesis takes place in this particular organelle which is present in green plants. So chloroplast is present in the mesophyll cells which are present in leaves. So let me tell you that leaf has three types of cells. The first type of cell will be making its epidermis. Second one will be these mesophyll cells which are made up of parenchyma if you have studied the tissue chapter, and third thing is the vascular bundles. So these three things make the anatomy of a leaf. These mesophyll cells contains large amount of chloroplast. Now this diagram is from NCERT itself, and here I want to drag your attention that if we have a leaf and we cut it longitudinally, and if you see it from the front, you will be seeing the longitudinal section, and this leaf belongs to a dicot plant. Dicot plants have two types of mesophyll cells. One is palisade mesophyll, that they are the longitudinal cells, columnar cells, which you could see arranged in this particular layer. And the other type of mesophyll cells are spongy mesophyll cells, which are round or say oval in shape. So these are two types of mesophyll cells. Monocot leaves do not have these like differentiation of mesophyll cells. They have only one type of mesophyll cells. Now also that epidermis here is of two types. One is adaxial, which is present on the dorsal side. Dorsal side of a leaf is the side of the leaf which is facing sunlight. From here you could see first letter is D and here the second letter is D. Similarly, the lower surface or say the basement of a leaf is lined by abaxial. So here the first letter is B and you could relate that the second letter here is B. So adaxial is dorsal epidermis and abaxial is the lower or say basement epidermis. So with this you have understood that these mesophyll cells are the particular cells which contain chloroplast, and therefore these cells look green because chloroplast contains a green pigment called chlorophyll. Now let us understand something about chloroplast. This is chloroplast actually. Chloroplast is an intelligent organelle. It will rearrange its arrangement inside a mesophyll cell depending upon the amount of light falling on it. For example, if it is shadow outside, and this is actually the mesophyll cell. So if it is shadow outside, the chloroplast would arrange parallel to the walls of mesophyll cells so that more amount of sunlight falls over it. But when the sunlight is present in large amounts, when there are no clouds, the sky is clear, then these chloroplasts would arrange perpendicular to the walls of mesophyll cells so that lesser light could fall over the surface of these chloroplast. So therefore they align along the walls of mesophyll cells to get optimum light when it is shadow outside, and when the light conditions are too bright, then they will arrange perpendicular to the walls of mesophyll cells. Now let us study the structure of chloroplast. So chloroplast, like mitochondria, is a double membrane bound organelle. So let us discuss how many organelles are actually double membrane bound. First and the most important one is our nucleus, the director of cell. Then comes mitochondria, the powerhouse of cell. And in plant cells especially, we have these chloroplasts which are also double membrane bound. Few students might be having confusion that rough endoplasmic reticulum is also double membrane bound just because it has so many crestas. But no friends, RER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum, is actually single membrane bound, but the membrane is folded upon itself. That's not a double membrane bound structure, because double membrane means we should have an outer and inner membrane followed by the intermembrane space. Now let's see where is the star of our discussion, chlorophyll, present. Chlorophyll pigment is present in the thylakoids. Now what is this thylakoid? Actually, if we talk about chloroplast as an organelle, has two important structures or say pillars which is supporting its roof. One is the membrane system and the other one is stroma. Membrane system is made up of coin-like structures which are called as thylakoid. They are itself membrane bound. When these coins are placed one on the other, they form a stack of coin which is called as grana. And if we have one stack and the other stack, these stacks are also connected by coins, and these coins are called as stroma lamella, or say the thylakoids present in stroma. As simple as that. So membrane system is made up of thylakoid. Stroma is the ground substance of chloroplast organelle. Now let us see. This membrane system consists of grana, that is the stock of coin which I explained you. That means many thylakoids placed one over the other, and stroma lamellae. Stroma lamella is that thylakoid which is connecting two grana. Now what is the function of this membrane system in total? It is used to trap light energy, that is the sunlight energy, and it synthesizes ATP and NADPH, which are the energy currencies of plant. So two important things. First of all, it will trap light energy and it would convert this light energy into chemical energy by forming ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, and NADPH. And now let's talk about the diagram of chloroplast mentioned in NCERT. So here you could easily see we have an outer membrane and an inner membrane. Therefore it is a double membrane structure, and here we have two things. One is granum and the other one is stroma lamellae, and both of these contain thylakoids. When thylakoids are placed one over the other, just like this shown in this diagram, you would name it as granum, and any thylakoid which is connecting two granum, just like this which I am coloring, is called as stroma lamellae. So this part which is connecting two granum, one granum here and then the other one in here, is called as stroma lamellae, and these granum and stroma lamellae together forms the membrane system of this chloroplast organelle, and this ground substance which is present is called as stroma. So overall this organelle is made up of membrane system and a stroma. Now let's discuss about stroma. Stroma consists of enzymes which are required for the synthesis of carbohydrates and proteins inside this organelle. And the major carbohydrate synthesized during the process of photosynthesis is none other than glucose molecule, which is stored as starch in plants. So the enzymatic reaction which is done in this stroma actually incorporates carbon dioxide and would convert into glucose, that is a sugar, and this reaction is called as dark reaction. So in NCERT we have two diagrams of chloroplast in two different chapters, of course. So here also you could mark that we have an outer membrane and inner membrane. Now let's mark the membrane system first, which consists of granum and stroma lamellae. So these two together forms membrane system. Then we have the other pillar of our chloroplast, which is stroma. And along with this, I want you to remember RSL. That is, ribosomes are also present in this organelle. Starch granules are also present in this, just because in stroma. So we should know that these big things are actually starch granules. Since in stroma there are enzymes which are doing reactions, enzymatic reactions, and converting carbon dioxide into glucose, and glucose is stored as starch. Therefore stroma also has starch granules. And then we have lipid droplets also. So you could see these small spherical structures which are actually the lipid droplets. So RSL, ribosomes, starch granules, and lipid droplets are also a part of chloroplast structure. And chloroplast structure has two important pillars. One is membrane system and the other one is stroma. Membrane system is made up of Granum, which is the stalk of thylakoid, and Stroma Lamellae. It is a thylakoid connecting two stalks which are called as grana. I hope with this you would have understood the structural details of our chloroplast and how and where this chlorophyll pigment is present. Hope you like this video. Do check my other videos also if you want such relevant content.